Part of the reason I own so many knives, and maybe some of you own a lot of knives too, is it's that never-ending search to find the one perfect knife that does it all, that does everything. And I did say it's a never-ending search. But on today's episode of KniFAQ, number 241 of the series, where we answer all your questions, sharp or dull, we're going to try to help out a couple people cut through all the nonsense and find that one perfect knife that does it all. Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here. Welcome to the KnifeCenter. Welcome to the show. We answer your questions in this show. That's Thomas behind the camera, as usual.
Speech therapy.
He's only saying that because that was definitely the first take of the intro. We definitely only had to shoot that one time. Let's get into the questions. First of all, if you have a question and you want it to have a shot in a future episode, drop it in the comments below. That is where we pull these questions from. Hey, before we get into the questions, actually, I want to tell you about a giveaway that we are doing. Link is in the description. All the details will be right there. Currently, we're giving away a Damascus Henkel's Bob Kramer kitchen knife. It is very beautiful, very cool, and it might just go to one of you folks. Anyway, follow the directions at the link below, and we should be doing more giveaways in the future beyond this one as well. So get signed up to get your chance. First one is from Miles P513. I need a recommendation. You've come to the right place. I'm law enforcement and an outdoorsman. I need a one-and-done folder knife that I can bet my life on. I already have a fixed blade, preferably something under $250. Thanks. Yes. So I've always thought of like the survival knife genre as being a crossover in style, at least between tactical and traditional outdoor knives. Fuse those together, you got survival knife genre. So I think we can do something for you in the folding range, and the budget you've got there, I think is pretty healthy. It allows you to spend enough money to make sure you're not skimping on anything, but it's also not an astronomical amount of money necessarily. Might be too expensive for some, certainly, but it's not like $1,000 folder or something like that. Can we get you something that's going to be dependable enough to last forever, so to speak? Figuratively forever. Don't come at me, people. Something that's going to be hard use, something that's going to suit the potential high speed access that you might need in a tactical situation with the just general utilitarian nature of an outdoors blade. I got something here for you. The top locks I would consider. That's kind of how I approached this question. For longevity and dependability, the triad lock from Cold Steel is a great option. The compression lock from Spyderco is a great option. And the frame lock from myriad companies is also a good option. They don't have extra springs that are necessarily going to wear out like some other locks could have. They're also tend to be self-adjusting over time. So as the locks wear, they still keep on working. And they're all can be made very strong, and they're just dependable. So first up, enough talk. How about some knives? I think there's a section of the comments that would absolutely drag me over the coals if I did not mention the American Lawman from Cold Steel.
Yeah, drag them anyway.
Great knife. And often gets overlooked, sometimes gets passed over by me in favor of other Cold Steel knives when we are showing stuff. But given your profession, as you mentioned, it's kind of like, well, I gotta show this, right? 3.5-inch blade, drop point, honestly tends a bit more towards just the general outdoor shape than something that is necessarily overtly tactical, but it can still work. 3.5 inches S35 VN steel. Great choice. Slim G10 handles here and the triad lock, which looks like a lockback to the untrained eye. The way you can usually tell, or the difference that you can see, is there's the gap between the end of the lock bar and the tang of the blade itself. That is because there is a stop pin in there, and that is part of what allows this to be very strong, and also the angles underneath allow it to adjust over time, whereas a standard lockback can get wiggly after decades of use. It's got a full finger or a full 4-finger grip for my slightly larger than average hands. You've also got an unguarded finger choil if you want to choke up and get closer there for little whittling and notching when you're doing the outdoorsy stuff, but plenty of a finger guard there for tactical uses. And if the perp were to try to grab your blade, he's going to leave fingerprints. That could be useful in a law enforcement scenario, even as it frustrates Thomas when handling the knife for close-ups.
Fun.
Best part about this is the price. It's about $127, so you can basically get 2 of these and be just a couple bucks over your $250 budget. That's pretty good. And the quality is, you're not giving anything up, quite honestly. Another cold steel option for the same price right now is the Recon 1. Bigger blade, about 4 inches. Otherwise, it's kind of the same story. 4-inch blade, S35 VN again. The drop point version of this actually, I think, is a slightly better drop point for tactical use than the drop point on the American Lawman. But since all the rest of these that I'm going to show you are drop points, I figured I'd show you the clip point, because that's going to work for either scenario, of course, quite well. A little bit thicker on the handles, and honestly, a little bit more comfortable to me, especially when I might be pushing into a wood carving cut. And no choil, but you've got plenty of space here to choke up for a finer grip nonetheless. Great price. A few different colors are available. Those might be a few dollars more. There is a MagnaCut steel version available as well. That's a little bit over the 250 ceiling that you gave, but not by much. The black coated one that looks just like this is about 260 bucks. But honestly, I mean, for half price, the S35 is more than fine. I'm telling you to not buy the more expensive knife in a way, but it's also, if country of origin is important to you, these are made in Taiwan. The MagnaCut version is made in Italy. You can do with that information. Speech therapy.
Information. He makes those hot dogs, right?
Yes, exactly. Do with that information what you wish. How about a compression lock option here? The temptation is to go with something like the Paramilitary 2. Classic option, would cross over pretty well, but I think it leans more tactical than outdoor for sure. Something like the Bodacious is going to give you more versatility with the drop point blade here than the Para 2 or PM2, and it's also more durable in its grind. It's not quite as fine at the tip. You've got some full thickness strength at the spine. And yes, I know I'm showing all black knives because, tactical. If it's a straight outdoor choice, I would go with the Spy 27 steel version with the blue handles. That's very nice. But this one, black G10, S30V, price is $240 right here. You've got a full length handle, plenty of real estate. You've got enough of a finger guard there for me to feel a little bit protected, and it's strong. The compression lock may look like a liner lock that's pushed in from the outside, but it's not just a flat, plane on plane lockup. You've actually got a tab that sits inside a matching cutout in the blade. So it's locking up in like multiple directions of force as you're using it. You can also do a finger safe closing action right there and a one-handed closing action, which could certainly be a decision maker between this or the lockback style triad lock of the cold steel. This usually is going to take 2 hands to open. Can't be done quite as quickly. Blade on that is about 3.66 inches as well. So, a good length. For a good frame lock version, well within budget, I like the SR11 from Lion Steel. These are the aluminum versions. Titanium ones have been made as well. But this right here is about $182. And you've got a lot of good stuff going on with it. First of all, the handle is integral, so it is a single piece. You want to talk about like lifetime durability. That is going to go a long way to being speech therapy.
Called it.
But talk about longevity. There's nothing to wear out. So like that handle's not gonna wear out essentially. It's just a solid chunk of metal. The frame lock is nice and open, easy to clean out. You've also got the secondary safety, the Viroblock, I think is what they call it.
Nope. I think it's the Rotoblock.
You're right, Viroblock is Opinel.
Why do I know that?
Far less durable of an. I got a lot of knife stuff rattling around in here. It's a lot to remember. Yeah, Rotoblock, of course. This prevents the frame lock from being pushed out accidentally, which is a rare occurrence, if if at all. But added peace of mind, of course. If you're rough housing with the knife, yeah, there you go. The blade is really cool. 3.7 inches drop point shape. A little bit of a swedge to keep the tip a little more pokey for pokey needs. Crown spine back here, very comfortable. My favorite part about it though, convex edge. It's a flat grind up here, but the edge itself bears that kind of Appleseed convexitude, which is a word, definitely. Don't look it up. I love a convex edge. Excuse me. I love a convex edge for outdoor use specifically. It is a durable edge. For me, it works great when I'm trying to do feather sticks and carving, fine pieces of wood for kindling tinder, that sort of thing. Hard to go wrong. Sleipner steel as well. Also, good flipping action. Ball bearings in the pivot, nice detent. Another tactical feature here at the end, you've got a glass breaker in the pommel, which none of these other knives has. So yeah, that could be a real good option for you. And the price I think is pretty good. One more thing to show you, not using the locks that I mentioned, and that is the Presidio 2 from Benchmade. The reason I didn't mention the crossbar style lock, which the axis lock is kind of the father of, grandfather of, whatever you want to say. It's 25 years old when the patent ran out. That's a little young to be a grandfather, I guess.
It's at least the oldest child.
It could be a father. That's well within father range. The crossbar in an axis lock and other crossbar locks is pushed forward by an omega-shaped spring, and I've honestly only had it happen to me once in my many years of carrying knives. I've found them to be quite reliable, but they can break. However, at least it is a serviceable thing. If one breaks, the lock still works. That's good news. But you can get replacements. You can even makeshift replacements. The first time I had one break, I used a guitar string to make of like what I thought was the appropriate thickness to make my own Omega spring. So I took it apart, popped the spring on there, and then I broke the other spring in the process because I was squeezing it to test the flex, and I pinched it and broke it. So I replaced the other side with a guitar string as well, and it's still running on those guitar string springs, even though I don't use that particular knife as much anymore. All that is to say, this could be a good option. Just keep in mind the possibility of that happening. The Presidio 2. One of my favorite larger knives on the market, quite honestly. I've used mine extensively. $200 gets you a 3.72 inch S30V blade. Pokey enough, but broadly usable with the drop point there. Very accommodating handle length. You can see how much extra space I have there. Not crazy heavy either. Actually, I haven't looked at all the weights on all of these, but this is a just under 5-ounce knife. Yet it has full-length steel liners for strength. The handles are CF Elite, a carbon fiber reinforced nylon, which helps keep the weight down without sacrificing strength. You got enough of a guard there. It's a very versatile knife. I like it a lot. Check that out, potentially. You can do that too. That's always fun. Let me look at weights real quick. The American Lawman, 4.5 ounces. The Recon, where are we? 5.3. The Spyderco. This is riveting television, isn't it? 4.8.
Just speed it up.
The Lion Steel is might be the heaviest. We don't have a weight listed on that. We'll make sure to get that spec and put it
The weight listing is weight listing.
up there. Oh, wait, there it is. 5.15. It was in a weird spot on the spec sheet. So they're all roughly about the same. The American Lawman slightly less. But yeah, there you go. I hope that helps. It's always fun to look at big do-it-all knives. Brings me to another point. You talk about this being a one-and-done thing. I think this works. $250 I think is a reasonable budget as well. But what do you folks think? How much money do you think you should have to spend to get something that you only need to buy this once. You don't need to buy another knife. This is the one. It's going to last you a lifetime. It's going to do everything you need. A, what kind of design does that look like to you? And two, how much do you think you should have to pay for it? I don't know. It'd be an interesting conversation nonetheless. Next question comes from X2741. Hey, I'm looking into buying a multi-tool that is perfect for everyday carry as well as bushcraft and survival. One thing to do everything. I always carry a dedicated knife with me, so I want the multi-tool to be somewhat on the lighter side. The best two options that I've come up with are the Leatherman Signal or the Leatherman Rebar. I picked the outdoorsy color versions of each of these to show. The fire rod and the diamond sharpener on the Signal seem a little bit gimmicky. I already carry separates of those anyway, as well as the blade only comes half serrated. Honestly, that's my one real complaint with the rebar as well. I think for an outdoorsy knife, I want to be able to carve with a straight edge right here too. On the other hand, the rebar does not have a pocket clip, and all of the tools are only accessible from the inside. Would you help me decide which one will be the best for my applications, or recommend some other multi-tool that would fit my criteria? Sure. So I'm glad you mentioned that you were thinking of Leatherman's in particular, because if you don't need the pliers, I kind of made my own decision on this many years ago and stuck with it for many years as well. For me, that perfect multi-tool for everyday crossing over into my outdoor adventures was the EvoGrip S18 from Victorinox. They don't make that anymore, but they do make the EvoGrip 18. Only difference is you have red handles instead of yellow, and the blade doesn't lock. But it's a great, honestly, set of tools. You got a blade, you've got a nail file, great in my opinion for everyday carry. You've got a pair of scissors, which I let close on there. You've also got a wood saw, can opener, and bottle openers. You've got flathead screwdriver on the back and a nice awl, which you can sharpen, toothpick and tweezers, the lot. Really excellent tool. Doesn't have pliers though, so that's not gonna be the choice for you probably, but 68 bucks. Gotten a little more expensive over the years too. The Outrider is another personal favorite that is a little bit larger, however. All right, let me talk to you about, well, let's talk about the rebar first of all. You nailed the downside. Everything is inside the tool. You can't get to anything from the outside. The rebar has inside tools as well, but some of the more important ones or more readily accessed ones are outside accessible. The other thing with the rebar is if you're really like pushing down on the pliers, the walls here do get kind of thin. It's better than like the original Leatherman, the PST in my opinion, but yeah, we can do better, I think. Still a solid tool, but you know. Price on those about 90 bucks, not bad. The Signal, we're coming in about a 130 or just about 140 right now. Yes, you do have this this diamond sharpener, which can be removed. You have the ferro rod, which can be removed. That also is a whistle. If that bugs you, cool. There are aftermarket stuff that you could use to kind of customize this to your liking. I've seen little carriers that replace this and give you something that can carry an extra screwdriver bit, because the rebar or Signal does come with Leatherman's flat bit holder right here. So if you want to carry an extra double-sided bit with you, you could do that. You could also kind of do the same with the blade. There are aftermarket solutions. In fact, the blade on the Leatherman Wave is interchangeable with this. And I've seen folks do that, and sometimes you can find Wave blades, you know, on the open market. I'm not gonna, you know, mention anywhere particularly because I can't vouch for any place that's selling that, but it is out there. I have another option for you though. It's interesting that neither of these two tools you mentioned have a pair of scissors, which to me is a highly rated feature, but that made my job easier in finding another option for you. But blade and saw are the two kind of like main things for outdoors use. Of course, you don't get a file with the Signal. That's something you do get with the rebar. How's about you check out the Sidekick from Leatherman? I think this is a really good combination of these two previously mentioned tools, and it's a little bit less expensive. It's about $70 right now, still built in America. You have two outside accessible tools. You have a plain edged blade. It's not quite as thick and commensurately not quite as durable as the blade on the Signal, but it is importantly a plain edge, and it is locking with a liner lock, outside accessible, and good for carving and small utility. You mentioned you already carry a primary knife, so this doesn't necessarily need to be the toughest, strongest knife in the world on the multi-tool. But we've also got a saw on the outside. Very nice. Let's open her up. You get a pair of pliers. Unlike either of these two, it is spring-loaded. You also don't get the replaceable cutters, but you have fixed wire cutters right there. You don't get the interchangeable bits like you do on the Signal, but you have a flathead and a Phillips on one side. The other side gets you the can/bottle opener. You get a file here with another small flathead, and you get a small serrated blade as well, which can be good in an outdoor scenario for cutting rope and stuff like that. I think this could be a pretty good option. And since you mentioned it, it does have a pocket clip. And while our supplies last, our sidekicks on the shelf right now do have sheaths. Leatherman has stopped including sheaths with their tools, and in response to that, we tried to buy as many as we could before the change to get the sheaths. So no guarantees as to if you place an order when we are going to run out of sheaths, but we do have some with sheaths. This one, in fact, came with it. Here, I'll show you. Here's the box. There you go. Comes with the sheath.
Someone's getting that.
One person, at least one person who orders after we film this will get a sheath.
That sheath.
That one, in fact, yes. Hope that helps, man. I think all of those, I mean, any of them would be pretty good, but I think the sidekick is worth taking a look at to see what you think. The other thing you could go, and the weight on this, it's kind of right in between the two of these tools. My personal choice, honestly, I've been going with the Arc for my outdoor Leatherman if I want to take a Leatherman into the outdoors. It's about an ounce to an ounce and a half heavier. It's almost 2 ounces heavier than the rebar, but everything's outside accessible there. The tool set is great, but it is a little heavier and bulkier. Check out the sidekick. It's about 7 ounces. All right, now we come to the lightning round for today. Borb Tomagus. Cool. What's the best serrated pocket knife under $30? I find those more useful for my needs. Does Civivi make something? No, I don't have anything from Civivi, and I'm going to assume you mean fully serrated as opposed to a partial serration here, like on the Signal that we looked at. So, my favorites in this price range are just over $30 normally. You've got the Tough Light series from Cold Steel, and you've got several bird knife models. One of Spyderco's sub brands are normally about 35 bucks. Both, this is the Meadowlark 2, but there's smaller and larger knives with a hawkbill blade, fully serrated, that are about the same price right now. A lot of them are on sale, including this one, which is if you're just under $26 at the moment we're filming this. So that's pretty cool. Works really well. You've got aggressive texturing on the lightweight handles, keeps you locked in, reliable lock back, fully serrated edge as well. Hope that helps. Next question from Javier Bonilla C. ChatGPT says that M390 is one of the hardest steels you can find. And you, on the other hand, say that it is soft and could not handle bones. Who is right? Well, I don't think that's quite what I have said when talking about M390 before, or any other steel in this context. Your statement is confusing hardness and toughness. Two very different things. For instance, diamonds are very hard. Pine is tougher, like pine wood is tougher than diamond. So I hope that makes sense. M390, steel is as hard as you want to make it, quite honestly. But M390 is often very hard, but it is not as tough. So when it impacts things, you might chip an edge. If it impacts, high density things like some bone, or some pine knots, actually, for that matter.
The ones I have to go through, yeah.
M390 is a perfectly reliable steel. Just don't expect it to, split a log. But yeah, ChatGPT says is like there's a lot that could just be, wrong with that. But yeah, hardness does not always equal toughness. Anyway, we've talked about this a lot before, but it's worth bringing up because I think it is a very often misunderstood topic when talking about knife steel characteristics. Thanks for the question. Now we come to our final question of the day, which is, of course, our most seriousest question, which comes from John Lewin. Christmas party season approaches, and I have to socialize with coworkers that I don't like once again.
I feel you.
The day this goes up, we're going to be is the same day as our KnifeCenter Christmas party, so interesting. What knife would you recommend to cut that awkward tension? Just asking for a friend. Merry Christmas, DCA Thomas and crew. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you. If you want to change that awkward silence, why not change it to terrified screaming? And yes, I am going to say the Spord Carcass Splitter is your Christmas party best friend. They're not going to stare at you awkwardly. They're going to be running away from you, screaming with fear in their eyes.
Then there won't be a line at the bar.
I do now feel the need to say, don't actually do this. This is the most serious question. It's not meant to be taken seriously. It's a joke. Man, it takes the fun away of making a joke by having to say it's a joke. Don't terrorize your coworkers.
Yeah, I don't like lawyers either.
That's all we have time for today, folks. Happy Christmas party season to everyone. Keep your questions coming and keep your most serious questions coming as well. We need them. We got to keep this series going, man. Drop them in the comments below. Let me know, how much money do you think you need to spend for a lifetime lasting pocket knife, a one and done pocket knife? And if you want to get your hands on any of these that we showed today, you can also check out the links in the description to take you to KnifeCenter.com. While you're there, don't forget about our long-running Knife Rewards program or Apple Pay or Sezzle payment options at checkout, which we're pretty proud of recently adding. I'm David C. Anderson from the Knife Center. That's Thomas behind the camera. We're signing off. Ho, ho, ho.